Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in the Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cuppa.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen. Hello.
Hello.
Well, stop. In the name of love. Sorry.
That's the sound of me shaking my head.
It was quiet.
Hello all. Right, we're right. Starting this off, I'm just going to take you on a little imaginary journey.
Okay. I have no imagination. This isn't going to go well.
It's not.
No.
It's true. She doesn't. She has no pictures in her head.
I do not.
Okay, right. So you can picture this.
Which I can't, but yeah. Maybe all the people.
Right,
maybe
silence.
you can all picture it for me.
Imagine you're standing on a riverbank at dawn. The water's low, the air's still, and the only sound you can hear is diesel engines. Out of the haze, trucks back up to the shore. Excavators bite into the riverbed, scooping out load after load of sand. There are no safety signs, no officials. Just a few men with phones watching for police and for anyone with a camera. In parts of India, locals have a name for the people who run these operations: the sand mafia.
So I needed a dramatic noise.
Yeah. Now they don't.
Oh, Dawn wants to press the dramatic noise. Say it again. Say in parts of India. Go
in
again.
parts of India, locals have a name for the people who run these operations: the sand mafia.
I mean, it wasn't dramatic. It was more like
That's the wrong one, isn't it?
invading alien. Oh, okay.
Try the other one. Try another one.
The sand mafia.
Just keep
Boom,
this
boom,
in.
boom. I don't think that was the right one. We'll just go with the alien.
Right.
The sand mafia are actually aliens invading.
So they don't just move sand, they move politicians, they move the police, and sometimes they make people who get in the way
Move.
disappear. That's probably more like... Anyway.
I don't know. Try another one. Try anyone. Try any button.
Oh, God.
That is the worst button you could have pressed.
See what... The producers found the buttons that
soundboard.
control-
We let her play with things. Yeah. It's only fair.
Right. Today we're diving into one of the most overlooked criminal economies on earth. I never knew it was a thing. You never knew it was a thing.
It was a thing till about 40 minutes ago.
Until we did a podcast recently about mining. How this is about how ordinary grains of sand who hold no blame in this
blameless sand
became fuel for corruption, violence and environmental collapse.
The
crazy world we're living in. So why sand, you might ask yourself?
Why sand, Si?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh, thanks.
When we think about organised crime, we picture drugs, weapons, people, diamonds, wildlife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stuff that is traditionally thought of as high value.
Yes.
Not the stuff on Skeggy Seafront.
Of course.
The sand.
The sand on Skeggy Seafront.
Yeah. Not that it's nice sand, but anyway.
So it's the second most exploited natural resource in the world after water.
People exploit water.
Well, exploiting it, using it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're not smuggling it necessarily, but so water, then sand.
Sorry, I just had this image of this guy with like a flasher mac on. He opens out with his bottles of water. He's like, "Do you want some more water? You want some black market water?" I couldn't do a nefarious accent. I'm sorry.
Some of it's yellow.
Don't drink yellow snow.
So, thanks to the global construction boom,
yes,
so there's always going to be a trigger. We're using about 50 billion tons of sand and gravel every year.
And to be clear, the connection with the global construction industry is the cement.
Correct. So this is enough to build a 27-metre high, 27-metre wide wall around the entire equator every single year.
That is a big wall.
It's
bigger than the Great Wall of China.
But every year, not so far in the history of time since we've been making sand and gravel into concrete, but every year. That's an insane. Just picturing that. That's according to UN Environment Programme. Now, sand is in concrete, it's in glass, it's in asphalt, in silicon chips.
And very often in my sandwiches when I go to the beach. I was going to say something else, but I went for sandwiches.
Basically, in the skeleton of life, it is there. It holds everything together. Every building, every road, every smartphone owes something to sand. Silica comes out of sand.
Inconceivable? Inconceivable.
Yeah. Not all sand's created equal, though.
Not all sand is created equal. I want that VIP sand.
Yeah. You know the stuff on the beaches? Yeah. It's too round. Too round for concrete.
To be clear, is that like all traditional?
Well, stuff that's all rubbed together.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the sea, against each other, it rounds it all off. Yeah. Hence, a lot of pebbles on beaches. They're kind of rounded. Yes. So basically, you end up with pretty much the smallest grains possible on the beach of the sand.
So it doesn't hurt your feet when you walk on it.
But engineers want sharp, angular grains that lock together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So that VIP sand is angular.
So
I'm interpreting for the
only angular sand makes the grade, but so it means places like Dubai.
Is that what you call sharp sand?
Yeah.
Is that why it's called that?
Yeah.
I always wondered.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because beach sand just wouldn't hold together. So stuff in the built Dubai, that's the wrong kind of sand, even though they're surrounded by desert.
So they just pushed that sand out of the way and brought in extra sand.
Bring it in from somewhere else, by the sounds of it.
That's like selling snow to an Eskimo, isn't it? Do you want me to shut up?
Yeah. Let me get on with the story.
Sorry. I'm very interested in the sand.
Step forward
Mafia.
I'm making 2 steps back.
Well, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, so basically that's the kind of sand that you get at the bottom of riverbeds.
Yes.
Yeah. Lakes and some coastal areas. All were once those kinds of places and might be buried under layers and layers of rock. But that's the sand that's in short supply, according to the World Economic Forum. As cities explode in size, legal quarries can't keep up with demand. Regulations try, at least on paper, to protect rivers and coasts. But the gap between how much sand we want and how much we're legally allowed to take is where the sand mafia step in.
Dig in.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the Jawas from Star Wars. Oh no, the Sun People.
Which would make a lot more sense, hence the word sand.
Yeah. But the phrase sand mafia is used most widely in India. That's where it was kind of first connected, but the pattern appears in many countries. At its core, you're looking at organised groups that illegally mine and trade sand, often with the protection from corrupt local officials, police, or even politicians. Wow.
I still can't believe it's that much of an important commodity. It seems bizarre.
Yeah, it does seem bizarre. But we've chanced upon this just through the mining episode. Sand mining is supposed to be tightly regulated in India. There are licenses, environmental clearances, limits on how much sand can be taken from each river. But at the ground level, enforcement is patchy, and the sand is worth real money.
Yeah.
That's what people want. It's created what some journalists call one of India's most powerful and violent criminal networks, deeply enmeshed with local politics.
Violent sand people.
And it can look quite ordinary from observing. Local contractor wins a sand lease, often through a rigged auction.
Oh.
Yeah. That lease becomes a cover to take far more sand than allowed, or to mine entirely outside of the permitted area. I've got this piece of paper.
I've got a piece of paper for the UK, but I'm going to mine in, I don't know, France instead.
Truckers, police and local officials may all get a cut along the way. Yeah.
Bribery and corruption.
Yeah, on paper legal, but on the ground it's a shadow economy powered by threats, bribes and sometimes outright terror. and worse.
Sand terror.
So the human cost, it's quite easy to think of it as just an environmental or economic story, but in some places a sand trade is literally a life and death trade.
I love the way you said death. It was really dramatic.
Well, you have to emphasise that.
Okay.
There's the case of Sandeep Kothari, who's a freelance crime reporter in central India.
Sandeep.
Oh, yeah. Stop.
Sorry. It's like you made it up, but you didn't, did you?
Stop it.
Okay. Mr. Kothari.
Yeah. He spent years investigating illegal mining and land grabbing, including sand operations. And in 2015, he was abducted and later found dead. His body showing signs of strangulation and burning. Police linked his killing to people involved in illegal mining. And he wasn't the only one. Journalists, activists, even government officials who tried to shut down illegal sand mining have been attacked and sometimes killed. Another journalist, we'll call this journalist Mr. Sharma.
Okay, Mr. Sharma.
Because he also has the same first name.
Oh.
Investigated sand mining around a wildlife sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh. In 2018, a track ran him over whilst he was riding his motorbike, and security camera footage raised serious questions about whether it was really an accident.
Oh.
A few months later, a forest ranger fighting sand mining in the same area was killed in the same way. That's actually from a resource called Faces of Assassination, which is quite an interesting report.
Yeah. I know what you're reading next.
Yeah. There'll be another story coming out of that. International press freedom groups have flagged sand-related stories as one of the most dangerous environmental ones in India. The Reporters Without Borders and others note that journalists who expose illegal sand mining face intimidation, physical assaults and criminal cases designed to shut them up.
Nothing about this. Is it because sand isn't very sexy? Like diamonds are sexy, aren't they?
No one dares talk about it.
So no one dares talk about the sand.
Above the parapet. It's not just journalists.
Above the sandcastle. Sorry, I need to do that.
Villagers who try to stop trucks, local officials who deny permits, even police officers who refuse to pay along have been targeted. Some are beaten, some simply vanish from the headlines. And basically, it seems there's a message: our sand, our rules, stay out of it. So, is there any harm, though, beyond the corruption and violence?
Well, there must be a reason there's limits in the removal of sand.
Yeah. Well, if we start with rivers, the scaffolding of the riverbed is,
yes,
strip it out and you destabilise the riverbanks. And that can mean bridges collapsing faster than they should. Well, I don't think any bridge should actually collapse.
At all, ever, yeah.
Villages are lost to land erosion downstream.
Yep.
Fish habitats destroyed. We've talked about fish. Globally, scientists and the UN have warned that intensive sand mining is eroding riverbanks, lowering water tables and destroying aquatic ecosystems. Lot on that. And there's even been a study in 24 on the Mekong Delta in Vietnam. That's one of the largest and most fragile river deltas. Found that illegal sand mining has left. Why do we keep saying miting?
I don't know.
Has left clear environmental footprints, including bank collapse and intensified subsidence. In coastal areas, removing sand from beaches or near-shore zones accelerates erosion. 2. That's happening at the same time. Sea levels are rising due to climate change. So basically a brutal, kind of like that for many coastal communities. The real irony is we mine sand to build cities that are in some cases more vulnerable because of that mining.
Do you think they also cut the sand with the non-good sand? So you get like cocaine. 50, but not that I've taken that and I wouldn't know, but the 50% sharp sand mixed with a bit of shockingly poor quality sand so that you get not as good sand, which could create a lack of integrity in the structures.
Have you seen some of that footage of basically buildings falling into rivers and whatnot?
Yeah.
A lot of that is as a result of very poor building quality.
Because it would be dead easy. You've got I don't know, a ton of sand. It'd be very easy to get money for 2 tons of sand if you mixed it with the poor quality
on
stuff.
A little handful.
Yeah, this handful's fine. Check this handful right here.
Yeah, not the stuff behind me. I got
don't
that from the
worry
stuff
about that.
behind
That's
me.
all exactly the same as this one in my hand.
Yeah. So, although the term sand mafia is most famous in India, the basic business model shows up all over the place.
Inverted commas.
Yeah. Southeast Asia, as you know, with the last one about the Mekong Delta, has become a major sand mining hotspot. And extraction has been feeding the construction booms in Vietnam, Cambodia, and neighbouring countries. Researchers note that sand is being stripped from the riverbeds at rates that can't be sustained, and much of it happens outside official controls.
Does this
appears in Africa?
Do the rivers have an ability to bounce back, for want of a better word? If left alone, would they repair themselves?
Once it's gone, it's kind of gone, doesn't it? It deposits. It deposits ultimately all the way down.
Yeah.
So it will always move around. The riverbed never sits still. Technically, there's always going to be stuff moving further downstream, but stuff is moving from upstream downstream, and it's often replaced. So Interpol coordinated a large operation in 2024 against illegal mining in West Africa, but that was mostly targeting gold, but it also uncovered illegal sand mining in the Gambia, with arrest and seizure of trucks loaded with sand. Operations like this don't look like what you imagine when you hear mafia. Sometimes they're just very small-scale informal groups, very under the radar.
What's the definition of mafia? Is it just like a criminal group?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they can often be tied to wider organised crime, these little networks.
Well, anything with value, I assume, could be.
Yeah.
Hence
they often launder profits through front companies, bribe local officials, and use violence, as we've heard. And it's definitely a pattern, the larger pattern of natural resources becoming targets for organised crime. It's even happening at sea. You know, I didn't go into that with the fish one. But the economics, this is where it happens. It's the kind of differences.
Yeah.
So sand's cheap, especially if you get it for free.
Well, yeah.
Out of the ground.
Immediate profit.
But sand, it's cheap. It used to be cheap. But when legal supply is restricted, demand keeps rising, the prices climb. So
natural theory of economics.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. It's basically being... The enforcement is trying to put blanket bans on it, which makes things worse. Because
it will just drive up the cost, which makes the
when legal
appeal of illegal sanding.
When legal sand is cut off, construction doesn't stop, it just turns to illegal suppliers. That's it. I mean, that's simple. Simply that's it. Where there's a demand, there's going to be a supply.
But in most marketplaces, there's a black market. There's an underbelly to most marketplaces.
Yeah, there's a black market, but that black market then touches on the environment around it or the people around it. Yeah. So, you know, that can be communities are economically dependent on it. So they've got truck drivers, daily wage labourers shoveling it, landowners renting access to riverbanks. Yeah, so if you've got a few options and you're kind of struggling, your crop's not come to fruition.
But you've got a riverbed.
Yeah. Yeah,
let it out
the only way
mafia.
to make a little bit of money, yeah.
I can't imagine they ask that nicely, and I can't imagine they pay that well either.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the governments aren't blind to it. They just don't know what to do about it, I think, is the case. On paper, many countries have strict rules, but courts in India have repeatedly weighed in. The Supreme Court of India just this year delivered a notable judgment, said that sand mining projects cannot be given environmental clearance without proper studies of how much sand a river can naturally replenish each year. And authorities must sign effective regulatory regimes with stricter enforcement. Of course, that's easy to say, but somewhere in the line, someone's going to end up coming up against this at the point where it's being inspected or whatever. So they can say that policy within the government where they're all hidden faces, but the reality is the person that's got to enforce that
is the person that's in danger from the sand mafia.
That's an impossible situation, yeah. So it doesn't really close any loopholes. It just drives
It just points out what the ideal world would be.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because there's no illegal mining group who goes, can this river take this?
Exactly. Yeah, so I kind of took quite a deep dive on this, but I'm not going to kind of go into every aspect of it. But a world without less sand crime would be an interesting one.
Which is
to look
honestly never a sentence I thought I'd hear anybody say.
No,
I didn't even know there was such a thing as sand crime.
This has been truly fascinating.
Eye-opening.
Yeah. So the smarter regulation required, yes, but we're always going to come up against the extraction is going to be done by people who are outside the law. There's alternative materials. Yeah, but recycling construction waste crushed and reused in new concrete. But that doesn't often work. I mean, I don't know the full dynamics of how recycled concrete can actually help to solve the problem.
But it's going to have picked up other stuff that makes it less effective.
Yeah. And, of course, following the money side of things and making examples of these people, but they just blend in.
They'll just go underground again anyway. There'll just be another one that pops up.
Yeah.
Cut the head off one snake.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll just be basically trying to chase after a moving target continuously. Yeah.
Which is no different to people trafficking, drug trafficking.
Yeah. And when you apply for something, apply for a loan, set up a company, go for a mortgage, it's all about money laundering. So you've got to prove where the money's come from. Well, there are anti-money laundering tools against environmental crime networks going on, but there's always someone in the supply chain because they're human.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a quite difficult one for it to be reporting it. So it's kind of almost an intractable issue. It's always going to happen.
No, but it's fascinating. We've educated a bunch of people about sand crime.
To know that this exists is quite amazing. It doesn't affect. Well, I say it doesn't affect us, but
might do if your house falls in the river.
Well, yeah. We've got no worries about that here, I would imagine.
No, and I don't. I would never buy a house on a floodplain either. But...
Yeah. But when you think about it, it's you think about it as being infinite. It's not. It's finite. There's a finite resource again.
I know.
Yeah. You just can't think that when you look at a desert.
No, you see a lot of sand.
You look at a beach. Yeah.
Wrong sand.
Wrong kind of sand.
Low quality sand. Chaff sand.
Yeah. Scoop it up like cod. Previously.
Chaff sand and cod. Yeah.
God, it's going to last forever. But it's always when these players come in. So it's about as unglamorous as it gets. This stuff.
It is unglamorous, but it's kind of like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That's a little mind-blowing emoji that no one can see.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So there's a crazy tale.
They're not going to make a film about Sand Mafia, are they? It's not like Goodfellas.
That'd be a good one, wouldn't it?
The Sand Mafia.
Not even a plight, is it? Yeah, anyway. So, maybe share it with someone who works in construction or urban living or planning.
Make sure you get legal sand from legal sources. Not that illegal cut
I suspect
sand.
Our framework in the UK probably allows for that. But then again, perhaps not enough people over here know about it being a thing.
And if we can't physically keep up with the right amount of sand and you're importing it from other countries, which would make sense because we don't have a lot of sand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But it's just who'd have thought? And then how the heck do you police that on a global scale?
I don't know.
Anyway, fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
I could have talked to them for another half an hour. Please don't. I'm not going
Stop talking about the sand people.
I think it's enough. It's enough on sand. Yeah, we don't have to come back to this again.
Okay. Really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Right, thanks for listening.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Donnie, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.